Congratulations!
Congratulations, Erika SLEZAK.
On March 17th, Erika SLEZAK celebrated her
40th
anniversary as Victoria Lord Davidson on One Life to Live.
Here's to you, Erika.
We've managed to bloody up the courtroom, haven't we?
A lot easier dealing with concrete evidence, isn't it? Instead, we have two decent people, and we're scrambling to make a villain out of one of them.
Well, at least Judge Guernsey thinks so. He wouldn't have yanked them off into his chambers.
Oh, Herb, I'd be the happiest person in here if they would just come in and fire us, because they changed their minds.
Nope. He'd be running a close second to me.
And every witness so far has been reluctant to say anything about either of you.
Except Maria Roberts.
Well, she felt bad, too. But if the whole town believes this is a tragedy, why can't you two agree on joint custody? Or give yourselves more time before jumping into a divorce?
Because Clint does not trust me, and unfortunately, every single attempt to communicate ends in a fight.
Viki isn't interested in a compromise, Your Honor. I've tried several.
I beg your pardon.
Now, if you two continue to go down this road, I'm going to have to call your children in and talk to them.
No,
Absolutely
you can't
not.
do that.
I won't allow that.
Agree on one thing.
Well, neither one of us wants to put the kids through an experience like that, Your Honor.
Look, why don't you tell me, one at a time, why you're against my talking to the children? Mr. Buchanan.
Well, there's lots of things, Your Honor. For one, I think they're too young to understand. And for another, to be honest with you, I think it'll go against me if you base your decision on what they have to say.
Why is that?
Well, because kids always have a special relationship with their mother. And as you know, I believe that I am more qualified right now to take care of the kids than Viki is. That's why we're here.
From the testimony so far, I take it they don't know about this memory loss.
No, it would be too much for them to understand. And if possible, I don't want them to ever find out.
I must say, I'm very grateful to Clint for taking that attitude, Your Honor.
Your Honor, if you were to ask them right now where they wanted to live, Viki would win, hands down. But that's because of the past she has shared with them. But she's not able to share that past with them anymore. And they have no idea. They don't know everything I've gone through to hold those kids together. Well, she
what?
Never mind.
I'm quite sure that Clint is referring to the time of my emotional illness when I was Nicky Smith. From what I've been told, it's true. He protected the children and he did hold the family together. But, Your Honor, I am not emotionally ill right now. I am suffering from a memory loss, which the doctor has told me was caused by trauma.
Well, now, I'd like you to tell me why you're so adamant about my not talking to the children, Mrs. Buchanan.
Hi, Dan. How you doing? Do you know Leslie Nichols? She works at the Landview Hospital.
Yes, I do. We met some time ago. How are you?
Hi, Mr. O'Neill. I've run into so many ex-patients here today.
Well, I think half the town's turned out for this today.
By the way, how's Allison Perkins doing?
There's really no change. There's not much hope left, really.
I guess you could say that about the hearing, too, couldn't you?
The staff of the Banner must be just devastated.
Well, it's tough. Everyone holds both Clint and Viki in such high esteem.
And now Viki isn't even acting as publisher. I'd say everyone is more shocked than anything.
What's the over? I'm not really sure. Probably no later than 5.
Well, can we listen to the radio?
No.
See if there's any news?
Karen, that's not such a good idea. Come on, let's play.
I don't want to play. I want to see what's going on.
Look, boys, I know how difficult this is for you, but there's nothing I can do except try to keep you busy and get your mind off your parents. Believe me, things are going to work out a lot better than you think.
How do you know?
Because I know your mom and dad. They'll work things out so you can see both of them, all you want. You just won't be living with both of them, that's all.
Great.
Can I tell you something? I never knew my mother. We talked about that before, remember?
Yeah?
Why? I want to talk to you for a minute. There. You guys, you're going to have both your parents around. All you're going to have to do is change your routine around a little. It won't be so bad. Dad, look who's here.
Well, hello there, fellas. Kevin, Joey. How we doing? Your sister upstairs?
No, she's being taken care of at Land Fair.
Oh, see.
You just came from court.
Yes, that's right, Kevin.
What have they decided?
Well, Joey, that might take a day or two, son.
If I remember correctly, I think there are cartoons on at 4.
Oh, yeah.
Why don't you guys run upstairs and watch them, okay?
Oh, was it a rough go?
They can only keep their mind off their mother and father for a few minutes at a time. Did you testify today?
Mm-hmm. Clint was desperate to prove that it was an affair that did not exist, but the judge finally ruled that it was not relevant because they both wanted a divorce. Then the judge took Clint and Viki to his chambers.
Try to get them to work it out?
Yes, I suppose so. The judge seemed angry. That's when I left.
That bad, huh?
Well, Clint gets very irritated when I'm around. But I'm going to have to go back because, as you know, Viki depends on my support. However, regardless of what happens in court, we have our lives to think of, and I really don't know what to do about that.
Delilah, how's my nephew doing?
Well, he's busy, but he's upset like everyone else.
Hey, so which one is being the stubbornest?
I'll tell you the truth, Danny, I think it's a draw. Because if Viki hadn't gone for the likeness of Joe Riley, we wouldn't have a problem at all.
I guess you'll have to forget about those kids moving in, huh?
I guess so. Hold it. Hold those gates.
Wait a minute, Ace. What's going on? You look like you're going to high gear.
Yeah, real high. Excuse me. Excuse me. Excuse me.
Hey.
Excuse me. A little lawyer camaraderie.
Oh, they still haven't come back, eh?
Good, because I want to tell you both something. I want you to pass it on to the judge. I am moving out of my house into a hotel so that this man with the loose scruples won't turn nice little boys into bad kids.
Asa,
Yeah, I know, lady. You're just doing your job. We'll let you take care of that boy, huh?
A very admirable sacrifice.
I would do anything to keep Viki from marrying Tom Dennison and splitting his family so far apart, it would take a team of Clydesdales that bring it back together again.
I cannot imagine anything worse than making the children choose one of us over the other. Your Honor, surely you must be aware of the enormous feelings of guilt that would provoke, and pain. Pain at having to reject one of us.
If you believed, as your husband does, that they would choose you, would you feel the same way?
Yes, of course I would. I would feel as if I had participated in some sort of an immoral act. Please, I beg of you. We both beg of you. Don't make those two little boys go through such a decision.
I have no intention of doing so.
Then why all this?
I said I would like to talk to them. I did not say that I would ask them to choose one of you. I, too, believe that, especially at their age, would be unconscionable.
Well, thank heavens for that. And thank you.
Nevertheless, this talk will influence my decision later on.
What are you saying? It was a trick question?
No, not at all. No, I just wanted to get your reactions.
Well, I'm wondering if I gave a wrong answer or something.
No, don't worry about it, Mr. Buchanan. I'm going out to talk to your attorneys. Now, I want you to stay in here for at least 15 minutes. And once again, I want you to make an honest-to-goodness effort to communicate. I'm still not convinced that your relationship is scarred beyond repair. And what keeps coming up is how scarred those children might be from your actions here in this court.
We do?
Yeah, it has to do with the money to pay for things like, clothing, food, trivial things like that, you know?
We're out of money?
Well, not completely, not for now, but I'm going to have to think of some way to generate an income.
Well, I could quit school and get a job.
Oh, no, no. No, darling, that sort of job doesn't lead to anything. You have to have an education nowadays to get anywhere.
Well, I'll certainly get a summer job, Dad. And I've got plenty of clothes and all that. I never much cared about material things anyway.
And for that, I thank the Lord.
Although there is one thing that I have to have. A sports car.
Well, I told you lately you're the sweetest little darling daughter a daddy ever had.
Besides our two primaries?
Yes, the butler and the Buchanan nurse and a relative I'd like to call.
Are the butler and nurse here?
They're waiting outside.
Would you bring them in, please? I'm just going to ask them a few questions informally. Get it out of the way. That'll save time while the Buchanans are hopefully trying to work things out in my chambers. Counselor?
That's fine with me.
All right.
I'm detecting some impatience, so...
You're detecting a lot of it. Yeah, those two should have agreed on joint custody. And I'm very disappointed that you and Mrs. Sanders couldn't maneuver them to that point.
Well, I am too, but we can only advise.
Yes, well, that doesn't lessen my disappointment. Ah, hello there. I'm Judge Guernsey. And you are?
Kimsu Murayami. I'm the Buchanan children's nurse.
And I'm Basil Heron, the family butler.
Yes. Well, it's nice to meet you both. Please, approach the bench. And relax. Now, we're just going to have a little talk here about what goes on in the household where you're employed.
It'll be a lot easier than testifying on the witness stand.
Yes, and you needn't worry about speaking out of turn. I know that neither the Buchanans will hold anything to say against you.
It's just very difficult, my lord, Your Honor. We are both happily employed at Landfair.
And you're very fond of the children, I assume?
Of course.
I love them dearly.
Then help me here, deciding what's best for them. First of all, do you consider Mr. Buchanan to be a good father?
Oh, without question.
The best ever.
Yes. Well, I understand he has a temper. Now, have you seen any display of this around the children that you might call out of place?
No, never, sir. He's always very gentle with the children, even if he's angry for some reason. And they hardly ever cause problems, sir.
I admire his way of dealing with the children. He's very sensitive to their feelings.
All right. As for Mrs. Buchanan, I assume you know about her state of mind.
Yes, we've been told.
Yes. Well, now, have there been any incidents where her memory loss has been evident? You know, harmful?
Evident, perhaps. Not harmful.
Well, such as?
Well, just little things. Like forgetting that Kevin takes violin lessons now.
Or serving Brussels sprouts at dinner, which the boys hate.
Well, they've only laughed at those things. They haven't been hurt by them.
Yes, well, is there anything caused by either parents that have hurt the children? Now, you must answer truthfully.
Well, that's easy to do, sir. They are fine people. They are excellent parents. And they have never, ever done anything to hurt the children.
They loved each other very much. We all feel very sad that their relationship has come to this.
All right. That will be all. Oh, if the councillors agree.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you for coming and for confiding in us. Thank you. Thank you. Oh, Mrs. Sanders. What about this relative? A powder keg of information, I suppose.
A character witness who's known Viki for a long time, Delilah Buchanan.
All right, let me talk to her now. That'll give the Buchanans more time together.
I'm gonna fix a snack for the kids. Do you want something?
No, thanks, sir. Maybe that's Viki. Perhaps they've recessed the hearing for the day.
Hello, Miss Dawson.
Oh, Richard. Yeah, come in. Come in.
Thanks. Hi, Marilyn.
Hi. You here to see Kevin?
Yeah, I came up to check up on him. But he's not the only reason I stopped by.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'll tell the boys you're here.
Thanks a lot, Mr. Dennison. Yeah. So how are they doing? I've been reading all about it in the papers.
Well, they're nervous and afraid.
Yeah, I figured they would be. Do you know, I went through the same thing when I was 13. I mean, it's tough. It really is tough.
Rick!
Hey! Come here. All right. How you doing, buddy?
Good. So glad to see you.
I'm glad to see you, too. And who's, this little guy behind you?
He's Joey, my brother. Joey, this is Rick. He's the guy who saved my life.
Hey, why don't you give me 5? All right. So I was wondering, if any of you guys would like to go out cross-country skiing on the property before it can start.
Right now?
Yeah, why not? I know you own skis. So why don't you go home and get your stuff, and we'll meet you out back, all right?
Great, Joey. Come on, let's go.
Don't forget your jackets.
Yep.
See you guys.
Sit down.
Great idea.
You'll be joining us, I hope.
Rick, I'm from El Paso, remember? We don't have snow back there.
I figured as much. But just so happened, I happen to have a pair of extra skis in the car. And cross-country skiing is just slightly harder than walking.
Well, willing to give it a try.
All right.
Judith, did Tom leave? He must have. I haven't seen him since he testified. What happened between you and Clint? The same old story.
Just another impasse we couldn't blast through her.
May I have order in this courtroom, please? Now, do either parties wish to come forward with a new solution? Mr. Carlson.
I'm afraid not, Your Honor.
The issue is unresolved, Your Honor.
All right. Mr. Sanders, you may call your next witness, please.
The plaintiff calls Clint Buchanan to the stand.
Clint Buchanan.
Look, I can object, but he'll overrule. She can ask me all the questions she wants to, her.
Put your hand on the Bible. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Mr. Buchanan, the family doctor, Larry Wolick, has been questioned extensively about the day that Viki was unaware of Joey's asthma attack due to a memory loss. Can you tell us of any other moment when she didn't respond to a crisis?
No, I cannot.
And during that one moment with Joey, given all your years with Viki, what would she have done if you hadn't been there?
This is speculation, Your Honor.
Your Honor, counsel for Mr. Buchanan has used Joey's asthma attack as the only claim to Mrs. Buchanan failing her children. I think we have every right to hear his educated guess as to what her next step would have been.
Overruled.
What would she have done if you hadn't been there?
I suppose she'd have called 911 and waited for an ambulance.
In other words, she wouldn't have let the child stop breathing and die, correct?
Correct.
And isn't it true that after this frightening episode, Mrs. Buchanan started poring over medical reports, school records, family albums, anything to familiarize herself with her children's background?
That's true.
To fill the void that was produced by the memory gap.
Yes.
And yet you claim that she is incapable of taking care of the children herself.
I'm claiming I'm better for the job. There's a big difference.
But you have no evidence to prove this, do you? I mean, oh, except for the asthma attack, which you admit you would have ultimately handled.
No, I don't.
So, in your opinion, Mrs. Buchanan, even with a memory loss, possesses all the qualities of a very loving and caring mother.
Yes, she does.
Thank you. Your witness, counsel.
Buchanan, do you love your wife?
Yes, I sure do.
a difficult time suing for custody of the 3 children?
It's probably the roughest thing I've ever done in my life.
You've stated that you find Viki Buchanan to be a good and loving mother.
That's right.
So what's behind you doing this? What is your motive in trying to win custody?
My motive? Well, I know this is going to sound upside down, but I'm hoping that in the long run, my having the kids will help keep this family together.
Would you expound on this, please?
Well, I can't just sit back while she falls for another man because she doesn't remember me.
Objection.
Well, it's the truth. Ask her.
Mr. Buchanan.
Your Honor, my client perceives the situation as he has stated, and it is, after all, his and Mrs. Buchanan's perceptions that we're really dealing with here.
Yes, well, I suppose you're quite right. You may continue.
Well, it's my idea that I'll hang on to the kids, and Viki will eventually, hopefully, get her memory back. And when she does, I know that she's going to remember our relationship. And all the wonderful times that are just blank spots to her right now. And I know that she'll remember the love she once had for me when her memory does come back. I know she's going to be devastated when she learns of her actions during this amnesia period. And I want to be there with the kids, ready and willing to welcome her back so we can pick up the pieces and just go on from where we left off.
Tell me, what are your fears should your wife gain custody of the children?
Well, I already mentioned one of them. There's a couple of them. One I mentioned was that another fellow will take over as daddy before her memory comes back. And it's just going to be too confusing and too painful for the kids. But beyond that, I just don't think it's fair that those 3 little kids should spend the bulk of their time with a mother that doesn't know them. I mean, she truly does not know them. You know, school reports and medical records and family photographs do not tell of all the little moments that a life is made of.
Such as?
Well, such as the day Kevin hit his first Little League home run. I mean, it was the happiest day of the kid's life. Such as the day Joey, for the very first time, rode his pony all by himself. It was the happiest day of his life. And the birthday parties, the Halloween, and making costumes for them, all the little milestones. She doesn't even remember giving birth to 2 of them. Or what we went through when Jessica was taken from us. The pain we went through during that kidnapping. And the joy we shared when we realized that we had created that little human being. And it was me that held those kids together, that held that family together, not some other man, me. And now, once again, Viki has left reality. And once again, I intend to hold that family together until their mother and my wife comes back.
I have no more questions.
Redress, Mr. Saunders?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. You may step down.
I don't think I can take much more of this. This is it, Viki.
He's made me feel so guilty. How am I going to do this?
You'll be fine. You'll be just fine.
I call Victoria Lord Buchanan to the stand.
Victoria Lord Buchanan?